Hello VC, hello everyone, I hope everybody is doing alright and keeping well. So yes, for today's video again it's another contest entry, and this is one which I've been filming which feels like forever, the entire evening, goddammit. And yeah, this is one for Johnny Mac, Rock and Metal Plus. This is his 500 subscribers contest. Nice one, Johnny. And yeah, it's for... he asked us to show 5 albums which got you into the music that you listen to today. So yeah, I thought, great, I'll have a go at that. I don't mind doing a good old contest entry, and also I can just talk about music and stuff as well, so yeah. Alright, let's get started, shall we? So, all of these, well, first 4 of these, I all owned on CD originally, so I'm going to go on about that. So, the first one is... this was the first album I ever owned. This got me into definitely rock and pop music from the 60s, definitely. Well, this album came out in '69 originally. Of course it is the Beatles' Abbey Road. Again, first album I ever owned. I got it for my 9th birthday. My dad bought it for me because I liked the Beatles songs I'd heard so far. So yeah, this was definitely a game changer album. And yeah, you know, great record. And, you know, yeah, got me into, you know, rock and pop from the 1960s, so, yeah. Very important album. So the next album I'm going to talk about is, of course, well, if you know me, you probably know what album I'm going to choose next. Yeah, Pet Shop Boys and Actually. Very important album, this to me. I originally got it on CD. Originally, the copy I had was the further listening version, which featured the extra disc of B-sides and remixes. Yeah, this album definitely, you know, really got me into synth pop and electronic music in general. So, yeah. Next one. So, at this point, with this album, this was 2014, around, I'm going to say, yeah, early 2014. Yeah, we'll say that. So I'd had a big break from music. I'd got into movies and things like that. So that was kind of a main thing. Music was kind of a background thing, although I did like a bit of soundtrack stuff. But yeah, this album really ignited my love for music and paved the way for me about 12 months later, me getting into prog, metal, hard rock, all that stuff. And it was this album. Queen, Greatest Hits. Originally when I got this, I didn't really like it, actually, to be honest. At the time, getting into Queen, I was listening to more Radio Gaga, tracks from the 80s era and the tracks from the Innuendo era. So, getting this and discovering that there was no kind of magic, no innuendo, no headlong, was really like, oh, and the fact that my dad bought this for me, I didn't have the heart to say it to him at the time, but I think he guessed that wasn't impressed. But you know, a few months went by and I got into this album very much. I knew a lot of songs on here, of course I knew who Queen were, who doesn't? But you know, really getting into this and just absolutely falling in love with these tracks. This and Greatest Hits 2 got a lot of play during the summer of 2014. Yeah. So yeah, thanks Queen for get me into a bunch of those genres. Alright, the next one is an album which I, again, originally bought on CD. I got this for £1 originally from Poundland, and this was me getting into the Indian alternative music scenes. So at the time I was listening to the Smiths, R.E.M., all the Factory stuff and that. This was the CD, it was sort of a gateway. This is Monster by R.E.M. Great record, this. Yeah, what can you say? Terrific album. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and the last one, I don't know how to categorise this next one, you probably know who's coming, but this album was, well, at a time when I wasn't really listening to much music. It was 2018, bit of a flux with my music taste, but so, yeah, I didn't know which artist to sort of gravitate to or whatever, I don't know, I just maybe felt a bit lost with a favourite artist or whatever. A lot of the prog stuff I wasn't listening to at the time, and it had been years since I had my Pet Shop Boys renaissance. So yeah, you know, I was wondering, what do I listen to or whatever. Then this album came along, and opened the door again for me. Heroes completely opened the door for me again, an important album for me. This first Bowie album I gravitate towards, definitely. Fantastic album. One of my favourite albums of all time, in my top 5 for Bowie albums. And, you know, just started all off again for me, and yeah. And it was definitely around this point when I got the album when this channel was changing. So, you know, Bowie just opened the door again for me, and you know, get into things like, you know, Velvet Underground and Lou Reed and things like that, and you know, yeah, he's definitely kept me on the trail of music, definitely, David. So thanks to this album. And there you go. There's my little entry there for you, Johnny. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope everybody else enjoyed the video. Again, VC, thank you all for watching, and bye-bye for now.